Hey y'all, it's Jeff, and this episode was fine. Nito thing came in so lively I had to turn the volume down. Definitely felt like a caffeine boost. She's like, hey chat, still looking for information on Rayquaza, but it's ultimately getting ghosted until someone does chime in with a sighting claim. Liko and Roy are traveling together solo, and I do wish it had stayed that way. They're on their way to a meetup spot, but it's unclear with who. Along the way, they're talking about Dot's streams, and Roy almost drops Liko's at. It just gives Horizons even more of a modern feel. I mean, can we find Roy on Reddit? He gets cut off by Litton's superfan, but it's only the second worst interruption of the episode. It's just an interesting choice to drop a character for the sole purpose of hyping up Dot, complete with handcrafted items of idolization. Liko's got some guilt over not keeping up with the streams, which causes Litfan to question her devotion, since at one point Liko was known as a mega stan in the community. Liko herself still considers herself more of a fan of Nito Thing than a friend, but to Litten fan, they're just a help. Realizing Nito Thing wasn't actually there demotivated her from guiding them to Rayquaza. Fortunately, the streamer was on screen, and the angelic way she changed the girl's mind was actually pretty funny. I still find it kind of mischievous Dot using her platform for personal gain in this way. Or Nito Thing, I guess, since Liko seems to consider them distinct from each other. Dot and her persona. Early on, you begin to question Litfan's legitimacy, something the trio never bothers to do. These interactions did give me another laugh from Meowscarada's jealousy, the way she just chucks the cats. If this episode's got anything, it's some humor, including the awkward interactions between Dot's biggest fans. Meanwhile, the more the fan stalls, the more skeptical I get. They get to discussing why they're after Rayquaza in the first place, and it's kind of interesting how Roy's initial goal still continues, while Liko's has more or less been completed. When it comes out they're members of the RBTs, the fan turns on them, and in a world where most people are so helpful, it is kind of refreshing to have the protagonists be public enemies. Yet, Dot's affiliation with the RBTs is never called into question. A battle ensues, and I was pretty sure that Meowscarada could have just eaten those Littens, but her opponent is an Incineroar. Liko leads with Flower Trick that's incinerated by Darkest Lariat. Hard to believe Liko accepted such strict conditions too. Could she actually have cut off Dot? I'll give her, she's giving strategy having Meowscarada trip up Incineroar's legs like Garganacl. Though the fan deserves more credit than you may have given her at first impression. Reeling Meowscarada in with Darkest Lariat and knocking her back with Flamethrower was a power move. It's tense, but Meowscarada almost all but certainly can't lose. Littenfan motivates Liko for some reason, and it does get her thinking, such as how the big bulky cat Incineroar has moves that are easy to anticipate as opposed to the more nimble Meowscarada. Once again, Incineroar clears Flower Trick, but you can see that Liko's unbothered. She's basically planted a bomb near Wrestler Cat's belt. As she never commanded it out loud, it's basically mind reading between her and Meowscarada. As things are turning around for them, and in a very Team Rocket-esque way, Ult interrupts. He somehow made enemies of both Dodrio and Fearow, and it's like, couldn't this have waited? I'm just not sure how many points this is going to win him, constantly bringing inconveniences. So rather than defeat the Pokemon, they opt to calm them with random forms of entertainment, including Roy singing, which I didn't mind, and a very casual usage of terrestrial form Terapagos. If the goal is to show off how creative they are, it's a success. Under a deeper scope, it must be to show that they're naturally peacemakers, meaning Littenfan can trust them and retract all her prior statements. Turns out she lied after all about the setting because the stream wasn't getting any traction. Plus, if all went well, maybe she'd even get to meet her idol. At least they do point out how the group really was acting in blind faith. Littenfan had even copied Liko out of jealousy, but is reassured Dot treats her fans equally. On top of that, Nito Thing is now a friend of a friend. As things are wrapping up, you get the sense that this character, for better or worse, will be back. For now, it's back to the duo Liko and Roy, and I gotta say I'm crossing my fingers it stays that way next episode. Overall, the introduction of this probably recurring character saves this one from the filler bucket, but it otherwise does feel that way. If Littenfan is recurring often, hopefully she'll become less one note. Although, I did appreciate getting a character who was allowed to be so deceitful. Still, that's the dilemma with this episode, since Ult abruptly comes in with his running gag as well, disrupting a win that Liko sort of needed. Otherwise, the actual battle did show off some good strategy on her end. All things considered, I give it a C.